Still better than using the lip gloss wand, which I've definitely done before while driving.
You realize we are recording now.
Yes. You know what? I'm put lip gloss on, okay?
With a wand while staring at the man in the truck next to you?
While licking my lips. No, it's 2021, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Men can wear lip gloss.
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew. Over there's Brandon.
That's me.
You can find us online at namely90s.com or on Twitter and Instagram at namely90s with a 90s. You can also find this show on YouTube every Monday at namely90s.com/YouTube. And finally, you can visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/namely90s with a 90s if you'd like to send us a little token of your appreciation and keep this podcast free, because all of them are. I don't think paywalls are really a thing anymore, unless you're really famous. And even then,
we wouldn't do that to you.
Or rate, share. What do you say for podcasts again? Rate, share, subscribe. Yes.
Rate, share, subscribe. RRS.
Rate, review, and subscribe. I don't know. Do things that are good for podcasts for us, please. Anyway, that was really bad. I don't know. It's been a while.
You could tell he writes this down beforehand, so he's prepared with what he needs to say.
Nope.
It has been 2 weeks.
And hot minute, yes.
And it is quite hot out, both where you are and not really where I am, but I chosen not to cool down my house today so we could be solidarity.
Today, the current conditions in my area are 100 degrees and smoke. Not partly cloudy, not sunny, smoke. It's like, oh, good. And it's funny because I had put in like one of those HEPA air filters in my car last year for the interior, the cabin air filter. And it was so hot here that like it couldn't keep up because of the restricted airflow. So I switched out the HEPA filter for a standard cabin filter just to keep out like, the big things. And literally the next day, the air quality was horrible. Like,
that's not going well.
But
it's a sweltering 82 degrees inside my place right now. So
it's about 82 here. And smoke.
Yeah. I feel you. It's what, 60, 64 outside, 72 outside right now. High of 73. But just a few days ago when I drove through Paso, it was 105. And then by the time I got down the grade, it was 79 degrees and slow. So it's there's a reason why I live in this city and not that city. Yeah.
The other thing I've been doing is like the day the smoke was really bad, I pulled up at work, went in, didn't really think much of it. I got back in my car later that night. It had cooled down a bit, but I turned it on. All of my air conditioning was like on full blast, but I didn't have my sunglasses on. So I sat down in my car. It just immediately blew like dusty, smoky air directly into my eye. Just like blinking the whole time. I couldn't get, it was really difficult to see after that. In fact, now my eye's starting to itch.
Don't you want to put your HEPA filter back in while the weather condition is smoke?
You would think that. And yet I've had that thought about 5 times today. I haven't done it yet.
Is your car in the drive or in your garage?
It's in the drive, not the garage. And right now it's parked outside, obviously.
Obviously. Sorry, I've been watching, prior to this, I was watching Clarkson's Farm. Oh. Yeah,
I watched episode 1. It was sort of what I expected.
Yeah, it's like what he does on Top Gear on the long episodes, but just himself. And yeah, I just got through episode 2. It was more of what you expect.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I like it. I've heard people who don't like Top Gear say that they like it, and I'm watching it. I'm like, it's kind of the same.
Yeah, I think it would definitely. Since I worked in the wine industry for 7 or 8 years, I understand some of the farming processes, and I was watching with a greater understanding than Clarkson of what he was doing, which made me very sad because I never in my wildest dreams thought I would become a farmer when we were kids.
I feel like Clarkson plays idiot well. I think he's smarter than, I mean, he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
You'd have to be.
What do the YouTubers say? Do it for the content.
Yeah, but it's funny because he's like, everything he does, he has to have the readers on, and like he's like consulting the manual. It's always kind of entertaining, but you know, and watching him bumble around is always entertaining.
Or watch him not want to do the perfect rows and just instead of doing a 3-point turn, he just takes a wide loop around his field. Like, yeah, you're gonna finish in half the time because you're only doing half the field that way.
Yeah, but just funny. So I would say I would recommend it to people who are looking for something to watch.
I would tell people there are plenty of better things to watch right now, but if you've run out of those things, watch that.
I feel like that's a slightly kind of veiled attack at me because I've watched literally, like, I haven't watched The Godfather. I haven't watched any classic movies.
Well, Godfather's hard to find right now on streaming.
I know, but yet I was able to find and watch 2016's Jumanji, which was fairly entertaining, but kind of an affront to all of the good movies that I still need to watch that are readily available.
Yeah, I mean, an ex-girlfriend forced me to watch the second one. So like, I think I've watched the other one on TV at this point, but they're not bad. They're
fun.
Yeah, they're different than the previous one, and I'm pretty sure if you were to show me a clip from either movie, I wouldn't know which movie it was from.
I mean, Jack Black successfully plays a 17-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
There's this internet picture that's floating around where it's like 4 separate pictures of him like in a jungle in some sort of khaki shirt. And it's just like, this is 4 different movies.
I can name 3 of them. I don't know what the 4th one is. Because Jumanji 2, and then the upcoming Jungle Cruise movie from Disney.
What isn't The Rock good in? I mean, honestly.
That wasn't... Yeah. I mean, I don't care for the one where it's like, I'm on a building that's collapsing, the world's tallest building. It's like he wanted to be Die Hard, but
that one's dumb. I never finished, so I watched most of
like
San
an
Andreas.
Amputee, but he doesn't. Oh yeah.
I watched most of San Andreas on a plane, and then like the last 30 minutes, I've never seen because I can't find it anywhere.
I'm pretty sure he was in the Rampage movie. And that's not like him on a rampage. It was based off of the old like arcade brawler Rampage, where there are like 3 mutant Godzilla kaiju type creatures destroying cities.
Oh, I did see him in Baywatch, the Rock Zac
really,
Efron version.
You very much enjoyed that. I were you applying your chapstick while watching?
Yes. Repeatedly.
With the wand.
But yeah, and apparently there was some reference to somewhere online of like rebooting the Terminator movies with him in them or something. And I'm not interested in that.
Yeah. I think they've tried 3 times to reboot the Terminator franchise.
I think it was just like a clickbait article.
Gotcha.
Because like someone used The Rock and Terminator in the same sentence once. So they were like, is The Rock reviving this classic Arnold Schwarzenegger series? Experts say no. That's basically what the article said.
And we're the experts.
Anyway, now that it's 10 minutes into the episode, should we talk about the 90s?
No.
Okay. So anyway, early 2000s movie recommendations.
You talked about 2010s movies.
Dang
mostly.
It. All right. Well, this episode is
brought to you by
The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yes, this is our Rock special. We are big WWE fans and WCW and WWW and
this
WFD.
This Rock cast is big rockin' fans of The Rock. Wait, now I'm going to get confused with the Flintstones.
What if we did a Flintstones podcast about The Rock?
Ooh. How about The Rock reboots the Flintstones franchise?
Oh yeah, they'll get
now
some
we're on to
get some ethnicity in there instead of just Halle Berry as the gratuitously sexy
Plus,
PA.
how fun is it that he is The Rock? But okay,
Yeah, how would they change? How would they turn his name into a rock pun if his name is The Rock?
Rock pun. Anyway,
it would just be Dwayne Rock Johnson instead of Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, August 1991. What do you think? Should we
yes and actually move on?
Yes and no more.
Oh, but it was fun to say no. All right, this time let's travel back to August 1991. Well, that makes sense. You did say Carlos Santa. On the 8th, we have Carlos Santana pleads. It does say Santa. Carlos Santana pleads no contest to a marijuana possession charge. Also on the 8th, Gary Oldman is arrested for drunk driving. On the 12th, Metallica releases their 5th album, self-titled, and it debuts at number 1. On the 13th, the Full House was moved from its TGIF time slot to Tuesday nights and lives there for the rest of its existence. On the 15th, the U.S. performs nuclear tests at a Nevada test site. And on the 16th, President George Herbert Walker Bush declares the recession nearing an end. On the this is the long one, so you can see why I wanted to do the other one.
Yeah.
On the 20th, Estonia declares independence from the USSR. On the 21st, the Latvia declares independence from the USSR. On the 23rd, Nintendo releases the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in North America, bundled with Super Mario World. F-Zero is also released on launch. On the 24th, Michael Gorbachev resigns as the head of the USSR. Also that day, Ukraine declares independence from the USSR. On the 25th, Linux is born. On the 27th, Moldavia declares independence from the USSR. And on the 28th, Kyle Massey, one of the stars of That's So Raven and Cory in the House, also Disney Channel original series. And he apparently is a rapper now. He is born.
And declares independence from the USSR. Oh, wait.
TV premiering and ending on the 11th. We have 3 Nicktoons premiering for the first time: Rugrats, Doug, and Ren and Stimpy. And on the 31st, What Would You Do? One of the game shows on Nickelodeon. Also ending in August 1991. We have on the 8th, Tailspin. On the 11th, Ferris Bueller, the TV series. On the 17th, A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. On the 30th, Hey Dude, Nickelodeon show. And over in the box office, on the 2nd, we have Doc Hollywood and Return to the Blue Lagoon. And on the 23rd, Showdown in Little Tokyo. And finally, on the 30th, we have Child's Play 3. Over on the Billboard charts, number 1 for August 1991, in from July and out through September, Everything I Do It For You by Bryan Adams. And for the first week, the Billboard charts of August 1991, we have in third, number 3, Right Here, Right Now by Jesus Jones. Number 4 is Summertime by DJ Jazzy Jeff and Will Smith. Number 7 is Unbelievable by EMF. And number 21 is I Wanna Sex You Up by Color Me Bad. And now back to the show. I'm glad you stopped me eventually.
I thought you had added some points at the beginning or something.
Because it was before the 8th. Gotcha.
Yeah. The Carlos Santana one. It'd be funny if it said Carlos Santana pleads no kidding to marijuana possession charge. He seems like he would smoke pot.
Gotcha. Yeah. Do you want to keep going on the Carlos Santana smokes pot train?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Gary Oldman has portrayed Winston Churchill, apparently, I've found out.
Yes.
By scrolling through the Xfinity On Demand obsessively last night, and that looks kind of good.
Didn't he get nominated for that?
Probably. The thing that's weird is like our TV is always on like some random movie network that we apparently get for free, like Stars or something.
I don't think you get that for free.
But it's in like this. It's always in that really intense letterbox format where it looks almost distorted and you can't see anything. Like we have a 65-inch TV and I can't see the show because it's so tiny. And then I watched the trailer for that Churchill thing on demand, and it's like the full screen. And I'm like, why? I don't understand why they're broadcasting stuff in that weird letterbox format.
A letterbox being 4:3 aspect ratio, or
no, like the really wide one, like the Lawrence of Arabia joke in Family Guy.
Oh, have you tried formatting your TV to Justified for that channel?
No, but what I don't understand is like the quality looks bad, the audio is kind of muted, and it looks distorted. I'm like, isn't this supposed to be a premium movie channel? Why does it look so bad?
But to be fair, my local CW station, when processed through my satellite TV, appears that way as well. Yet, if I just use over the air, it's perfect HD quality.
Right.
So, what's up with that? Direct TV.
I think the problem is it's literally indirect TV. It's
True.
not direct TV. It's indirect. Anyway. It's literally a relay.
Anywhere else you want to go? How long did I take on that detour?
Not very long. I don't know, but we talked a bunch.
Do we cut that out for next week, or that's the problem? All right. You've definitely all heard that this episode.
You could easily cut it out and just filter it into the next episode.
I could. Not easily. That actually takes a lot of work.
Okay.
Just the way that the editing program works. Anywhere you want to go?
No, I think I have a suspicion we're going to be talking about some cartoons here, though.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Should we talk about Nicktoons then?
Sure.
I want to talk about Rugrats. I know I geeked out with our friend, the dancing broccoli guy.
Yes. Jim Stewart Allen,
who has been, I think he just got on the local Fox affiliate for Dancing with Broccoli at a rugby game.
Yeah, Seattle Seawolves. Yeah, he's going hard on the broccoli, and it's working for him.
Yeah. So if you want to check out our old episode on the Rugrats Hanukkah special, you can hear me and Jim Stewart Allen go in depth on our Rugrat memories while Andrew's just sitting there bewildered. But yeah,
pretty much, yeah.
The Nicktoons. The launch of the Nicktoons was Doug, Rugrats, and Ren and Stimpy, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. You know, Nicktoons are like were a staple of the 90s and into the 2000s. Yeah. I assume they still exist. SpongeBob's still going somehow. But yeah, Rugrats is an American children's animated television series focusing on a group of toddlers, Tommy, Chucky, Phil and Lil, and Angelica, and their day-to-day lives, usually involving the life experiences that become much greater adventures in the imagination of the main characters. Did you watch the Rugrats, Andrew?
I feel like I watched it here and there. I mean, I definitely am aware of all the characters, but I don't remember watching it a lot.
I think we've talked about the Rugrats movie at some point in the podcast.
Right.
But yeah, that was my favorite TV show growing up. Rugrats, Power Rangers, right in that kindergarten sweet spot. Because Tommy would go on those wild adventures where they would get like stuck in a toy store after dark, and then the animatronics would come to life and travel back in time for some reason, and he imagined the Grand Canyon while in a tire changing place. It was a lot of things. He had a high noon showdown with a bully in a public play park, where he killed the bully with the gun.
Jeez.
Yeah, that might have
anything
not
is
happened.
possible with the power of the imagination.
For some reason, I think they shot with milk bottles. I don't remember. I haven't watched this in a long time.
Gun violence.
And, they've just recently massacred the Rugrats by bringing it back on Paramount Plus with the new cheap animation style that just looks terrible.
No.
We've talked about that a few times. They remade one of the old clips in the new style. I think they re-recorded the voices for it, but it was like a scene from an episode from the old show, and that they just redid in the new animation style, and it was terrible.
Oh, it's so creepy. It's
super creepy. And they did that for SpongeBob now too. Not that I cared about SpongeBob after the first season, but it's bad.
I feel like mannequins. It's like the newer Garfield series is like the same 3D engine, I feel like.
But yeah, and it's just like really cheap animation. Like you could tell this does not cost much money at all. Because there is some facial movement, but it's just like there's no heart to the way it looks. Like those old animations, they looked good in a weird way. They were creepy at times. Honestly, like the weird squiggly lines on their faces and the shape of their heads, like it felt more real. Obviously, it wasn't real, but it felt more natural. I don't know where I'm going with this. It just felt better than that smooth, weird shaped.
Yeah, it was regular. It was just animation.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, let me send you a picture of the new Garfield. It's so creepy. It's not that new either. It's like 08 to 16.
Is it? Do you care to riff while I'm
riffing? Oh. Yeah, my kids watch this Garfield thing and it's super creepy. But the original is so good.
Yeah,
They did a Garfield regular animation one, and it was like excellent.
Yes, that old one had the classic Garfield voice pre Bill Murray.
3D Garfield was no good.
That's terrifying. Also, moving forward, the next Nicktoon, I thought we should talk about Doug. Remember Doug?
Yeah.
What do you remember about Doug?
My brother always watched it. It just seemed, the show always seemed kind of just like, I don't know how to describe this.
Surrealist.
Yeah. I don't know. Like the characters are weird. Like why was that one guy green?
The bully, Roger Klotz. Yes. With the orange hair.
And why was everything like, all the transition music was just people like making mouth sounds?
Yeah, it was a lot of scatting.
I didn't like that.
Oh, I did. The show focuses on, it's an American animated television series, focuses on the early adolescent life of its title character, Douglas Doug Funny, who experiences common predicaments while attending school in his new hometown of Bluffington. Doug narrates each story in his journal, and the show incorporates many imagination sequences. Which is kind of a running theme of those early Nicktoons. The series addresses numerous topics, including trying to fit in, platonic and romantic relationships, self-esteem, bullying, and rumors. Many episodes center on Doug's attempt to impress his classmate and crush, Patty Mayonnaise. And he had his sister Judy, who was like a hipster, and she was a theater kid. She had a beret. There was his best friend Skeeter, who was blue for no apparent reason. And his dog Pork Chop, which he was
I think
able
it's
to talk
weird
to.
that the outline goes away on their head
Oh,
for the
and his
hair.
and his hair is just like,
but the hair is so thin that the outline being gone looks weird.
yep. Let's see. Oh, I remember there was an episode where like Doug was trying to fit in, and they're like, "Oh, why don't you go catch a nematode?" And they're like, "There's no such thing as a nematode." And it's like, "Yeah, there is." And for the longest time, I thought a nematode was a made up thing from Doug, not realizing that nematodes actually exist in nature.
I feel like the show Caillou is a prequel to Doug.
I've not seen Caillou. I want to say
Small
it's
bald child.
I wanted to say cats for some reason.
The thing I'm trying to figure out is, does he have cancer or is he just bald?
Doesn't he has like 4 hairs.
Caillou?
Oh no, Doug.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if he's got cancer. It's up in the air.
Possible. There was an episode where they made a band, and he had a imaginary sequence or music video sequence where they turned into like the Beatles, and then they had like a giant uniform white suits that they were wearing. It was interesting. Because it started as a song that he wrote about Patty mayonnaise, and he was like, Patty on a what was it? Patty on a, and then he would hiccup on a so, I don't know.
I'm searching
mayonnaise?
For pictures, and I found number one from HuffPost. Sorry, was Doug and its central character Doug funny racist? And then another one over here from Complex.com says, "Is Patty mayonnaise black?"
I always thought so. Skeeter was blue or green, but I always thought he was black. I just thought Patty was unseasonably tan. But that's just how my child brain interpreted it.
Apparently, Nickelodeon was catering to a white audience
by having,
but not a blue audience.
So everyone was white except. Wait, I'm confused.
Can I just? So it says blah blah blah. Doug funny multicolored friends.
Like Doug's family was the only one that was like white.
This author. Anyway, so they said the others didn't get Nickelodeon. One of Nickelodeon's founders, Gus Hauser, said in Slimed, an oral history of Nickelodeon's golden age via Bitch magazine. Children who couldn't afford cable were getting some children's programming from PBS. Sure, it brings up issues of diversity and income level.
Yeah, so Nickelodeon at this time in 1991 was a premium channel. I remember that because we didn't have it. It was on the cable box, so I would watch it when they would have like the free like see the whole package weekends or months or whatever, but we didn't get it. We didn't get Nickelodeon until probably like 94, 95. I know I was still I think I was in like preschool, but yeah, so you had to pay.
I just need to read. I'd read more of this because it just gets worse. Sorry. Executive producer Doug Campbell's reasoning wasn't any more satisfactory. Look, we're not black people, we're not Mexican, but we want the cartoon to speak to all groups, Campbell said in Slimed. How do we get past the barrier of ethnicity? And Jim Jenkins, the show's creator, said, let's try coloring them all different colors, except actual colors that people are.
That's apparently true. But I feel like you could infer from how some of the characters were drawn their ethnicity as a racist child, apparently.
The question of Doug's race is something fans have been debating for a while, which concerns me on its own. In 2009, a blogger, who I'll not name, said every supporting character around Doug is some wacky shade, except, of course, Doug Funny, who's a regular white kid. Mm-hmm. The main character is white in a world full of colorful yet ancillary characters. What does that tell our children? It tells them that only the white race is deserving of a spotlight, and all other skin tones must remain in the background. And finally, BuzzFeed pointed out a Facebook group founded in 2011 called Why the F does Doug Funny only mac on white chicks? Its mission statement reads, over 100 students are enrolled at BB Bluff Middle School, changed from Bluffington Middle School in February of 1996. They are all different colors, some purple, some green, some yellow, some blue. It's a crockpot of diversity, and out of these hundreds of female students, there is only one, I repeat, one white girl. Her name is Patty Mayonnaise. And that's who he chooses.
Unseasonably tan.
Anyway.
Wow.
This is the dumbest article I've ever written.
That's pretty bad. Although good point. But at the same time, if you look at, TV hasn't gotten much better since then. Like, it's still white led with ancillary characters of color.
Right. There was so much drama around Doug.
Yeah.
It's a dumb debate. Were these things from a time when people were more racist also racist? It's like, yes, they were.
Duh.
It's better now, but it's still not good.
Were TV series in the 90s homophobic? Yes.
Was it okay? No. Should we be debating it? Not really.
There's nothing to debate. It was. I just briefly wanted to touch on Hey Dude before we get too far away from Nickelodeon stuff. Since the series started in 1989, it was an American Western comedy series that aired from July 1989 to August 1991, with a total of 65 half-hour episodes produced over 5 seasons. The show was originally broadcast on Nickelodeon. It was set in the fictional Bar None Dude Ranch near Tucson, Arizona. Portrays the lives of the ranch owner, his son, a female ranch hand, and 4 teenage summer employees. And it was a comedy aimed towards a teenage audience, but for some reason, kids mostly watched it, I want to say.
Perfect.
Yeah. The plot is Ben Erst, a divorced, good-natured, somewhat bumbling father from New Jersey, has bought a dude ranch seeking escape from his high-pressure job as a NYC accountant. His son, Buddy, is displeased with the change of locale, primarily because he is unable to use his skateboard in the desert because of the sand. Buddy's dog, Cassie, was featured in season of blah, blah, blah. And yeah, so it was fish out of water story, bunch of kids at a dude ranch.
That show is sexist.
Well, I mostly remember it because Christine Taylor is in it as Melody Hansen, a lifeguard and dance instructor from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Christine Taylor being Ben Stiller's wife.
Oh.
She played Marsha Brady in those Brady Bunch films. She was in like anything Ben Stiller's been in. You know who it is, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So that's weird the random things you are in as a kid pre Ben Stiller. Do you remember Hey Dude?
I do not.
Pretty sure there was definitely a token Native American character that was most likely offensive at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
I can even picture him in my head. I don't know who it was or what the actor's name was. Sorry. And yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up. It's one of those early Nickelodeon shows that was kind of aimed towards teens, but like not that well. And it was Hey Dude and Salute Your Shorts. Those two were kind of aired together, and then eventually the Adventures of Pete and Pete. But
yeah, I know all about kids watching stuff that's too like advanced for them. Like my kids have been getting on YouTube.
I don't know.
And
have they found my YouTube channel?
No. So they usually watch like kids videos, but they started watching like GTA 5 videos, but like more the car videos, you know, it's
Rocket League.
Yeah, but then they found apparently like that creepy thing Siren Head like made an appearance in one of those videos. Have you heard of that thing?
Oh, the big giant nose thing. No? Yes.
It's like a giant humanoid robot thing, but instead of a head, it has like sirens, and it like is super creepy and chases you. And apparently there's a mod that puts it into GTA 5. And now the kids are super scared of this thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was like that thing from a couple years ago, that Momo thing where like supposedly that scary thing would pop up in kids videos.
Yeah, but it wasn't. That was a lie.
it was a lie and it was dumb.
It was just a Japanese artwork that was super creepy.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah.
Kids.
Pushing. Super Mario World. We can't. The SNES came out this month. We can't skip over that.
True.
Because Super Nintendo. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System (SNES) is a 19. Blah, 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 blah. I guess I didn't write anything about that. The Super NES came out. Do you remember the Super NES?
I do remember it. I didn't have it. We now have the little version of it that you can buy.
Oh yeah,
it's not really real, but
Kayla played stuff on it, right? She was.
She does. Secret of Mana was the main thing she played on it.
Mana. I remember we had the Super Nintendo. Came with Super Mario World. It's one of the best games. I'm pretty sure it's considered one of the best games in the series and one of the greatest video games ever made. The best-selling SNES game. And it's been re-released many of times. I think I've owned every single version of it.
It's quite the credential.
Right? But yeah, what else did I play on that? I had a really terrible Looney Tunes game where you were Tasmanian Devil, and it was basically like Rad Racer, except you were the
wasn't like NHL 94 on that thing?
Oh, NHL 94, the best hockey game ever. EA Sports, it's in the game. Yes, I had that. Although I don't think we ever played it together.
No, I only played the newer versions.
Yeah. What else? There's so many good Super Nintendo games that I probably don't remember. One of our friends also had it and let me borrow Yoshi's Island, which was for some reason Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, which had completely different gameplay. Didn't make sense. It was a marketing decision. And dumb. I'm pretty sure I still have their copy of Super Mario Kart, which I never returned. Sorry if you're listening. And Super Nintendo games. Super Nintendo. Great console. Oh, Donkey Kong Country. All the Donkey Kong Country games. I had those. Those are great.
DK. Huh.
That was for the Nintendo 64, but yes.
Dang it.
Same series. And we're running long.
We are.
I'm just going to say the words Doc Hollywood and assume that you've never seen it. And
on that note, I have no idea what that is.
It's a Michael J. Fox romantic comedy where he is a recent medical school graduate and he's going to California, but he actually has a car accident somewhere in a small town and they try to convince him to be their local doctor. Yeah, that's as bad as it sounds. And that's it for this week's edition of Namely 90s. Remember, you can find new episodes out every Monday. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at Namely 90s with a 90s, or find our personal accounts at bshwitty and at Namely Andrew and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. If you would like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Namely90s, also with a 90s. Finally, you can also contact us through our website, namely90s.com. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Doc Hollywood, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and wherever you get your podcast at. I'm Brandon, that's Andrew, and we will catch you next time.
I was like, this isn't going the way that I expected it to.